So Fear the Walking Dead Season 7 has returned with its second half of the series. Episode 9 has now aired. Episode is called Follow Me, and if you don't want to get anything spoiled about this episode, do not listen to this review because this review is going to contain full spoilers for the episode. You've been warned. So episode 9 picks up in a place where I thought, because AMC actually released 9 and 10 the same day, I actually thought at first I pressed into episode 10, so I went out to make sure I didn't press into episode 10, because episode 9 starts off in a really weird place. At first it starts off with Alicia being in some weird dream status, and then she's waking up and she's walking around in a pretty kind of a way where I thought she was still in the dream. She comes up, destroys the radio, and then information that's given to us in the first 5, maybe 10 minutes made me feel like I had missed an entire episode. Now, while I watched it on, it says it was episode 9, but for all I know, there could have been an episode in between that. I don't think there was. But the first 10 minutes I found to be very confusing because there was a lot of stuff that I felt like was missing information there. We learned it as the episode went on. But it just felt like the first 10 minutes I was thinking, what the hell is happening here? How did Alicia get here? Everything going on. As well, Alicia, she got bit. But as far as I know, she got bit a while ago. I think it's been a few months now since she got bit. So there's no way she's sick with the bite. But what the hell is she sick with? What is she getting? Fevers, hallucinations? She looks like she's constantly sweating. So I really wonder what is actually wrong with Alicia. Hopefully we get like a definitive answer. I don't know if she's seen any doctors. She says in this episode that the group she's with has doctors, but I don't know if they're like doctors before the apocalypse or they just kind of picked up a few skills since the apocalypse started. But I'd love to get an actually find out what is wrong with her, because I'm really, really curious to see, is it something to do with her getting bit or what is it? I really don't know. It could be an infection, but I feel like she got bit a while ago. She would have turned now if that's it, unless it's like a really, really slow one, but that really doesn't seem realistic at all. But she's been staying with this guy for the last couple of days because she passed out. This guy named Paul, who is actually a surprisingly good character. He's a character who really stands out. Fear the Walking Dead's been doing this a lot since, I want to say, season 5, where they are introducing like a new character every episode. Some become memorable who stay around, and some are just one and done. And some of them stay around, but then they disappear after a while. Wendell's one of those characters who has just completely disappeared since we didn't see him in season 6. As far as I think we saw him once season 6. From memory, we haven't seen him in season 7. But he's one of those characters who's still around, but we haven't seen him. The kids from the start of season 5 haven't showed up. And then you got the rabbi, who I can't remember the character's name, but from memory, he hasn't been in season 7. He was in season 6, but we haven't seen him in season 7. And I was expecting Paul to be one of those characters. He's actually a character I actually really enjoyed. It's to see what happens to him in the end I found to be really disappointing, because I actually wanted to see his story continue. Of course, he's a deaf man, and he's kind of like the stereotypical deaf man in movies and TV shows. He's a deaf man who has an absolute love and passion for music. If for some reason they always tend to do that in movies and TV shows, and he's got all these musical instruments. He has the music blaring from his house. He used to work for an orchestra before the apocalypse. It's also revealed that his wife actually died in the nuclear explosions in the last episode of season 6. So it's cool to see that not only did this affect Morgan and Strand and all of our characters, it affected everyone else in Texas, because it's just you just expect it to be just our characters based, and it's just great to see that there's been wider repercussions out there. Of course, like think back like this with the Whisperers. I assume they had run-ins with other groups, never to the scale of our main core group in the main Walking Dead show. But it's just insane to see that, like, oh yeah, people like died in these explosions. It wasn't just our main group and everyone else was fine because they were just outside the explosion ratio. This man lost his wife. Actually, I think from the start of the season we did see another woman who's, as far as I know, lost her husband in the explosion. I think it's just really cool that they are fleshing out the whole explosion storyline, and the fact that it was a massive, massive thing. But this group, who I can't remember the guy's name, they said it a few times in the episode, but I didn't actually pick up his name. But the hooded group, the ones who all wear the big cloaks, the hoods, the masks, they are out hunting for Alicia, because Alicia was going to them, trying to get them to join her in taking down Strand. She was talking to them, saying that, I'm going to take you to the promised lands, we're going to take you to all this, we're going to take you to Padre, all these great things. And it led to all of his group being killed. So he's walking. Well, he's not walking around. He's traveling around, but all of his family, friends, all the people he's been living with in the apocalypse inside a cage as walkers, and they're traveling around trying to get Alicia so that they can feed Alicia to her as revenge. And it's weird. They're a weird group. It's a group that definitely feel more like filler. It doesn't feel like they're actually there to serve a point. I can't see it wrapping up in a conclusive way. The end of the episode has them just finding I assume it was ground zero for the explosion, and there's walkers covered inside it, but I can't see them serving a massive purpose. I feel like it's going to be a filler until we get to probably midway through the season, or midway through the second half of the season, and then Strand and all them will take center stage. I can't see them being any importance to the story. Just there's nothing really from them that makes me think that's what's going to happen. Alicia's prosthetic hand is pretty cool. She's got a knife attached to each finger, so it's pretty much like Aaron's in the normal Walking Dead. We do see her arm at the start of the episode without her having the prosthetic arm. It just looks so weird. I still can't get over the fact that Alicia now doesn't have her arm. She does mention her mom in this episode as well. Expecting to see Madison hopefully soon. I really hope it's not like the last 5 minutes of the last episode. I really, really hope Madison does come back. I've been saying since Madison left the show that I've always knew, I've said it for years, you can go back through all my videos since season 5, I've always known Madison was still alive, and I'm really glad that she actually is coming back. I hope she isn't going to come back in the last few minutes of season 7 and then be a main character in 8. I'd love to see her actually come forefront. I want to see her reaction to finding out news like Nick is dead, seeing that Daniel's now part of the group again. I'm really excited for her to meet Morgan, which is a big one, but I really hope her reuniting with the group isn't going to be let down. But this episode I did find to be a letdown. Nothing really happened. It did feel like a massive, massive filler. Like Paul does lure the hooded group to his house. He blares the music. He ends up killing majority of them. But for the most part, it literally just felt like a filler episode. It was a very self-contained episode. Like we were in Paul's house. We were in some opera studio where Paul had worked before the apocalypse. Like it just didn't feel like the story had progressed at all. I don't understand why they were telling us the story of Paul. I can't see how it comes back, because even Alicia says that she invites Paul to join, and then a few minutes later she turns her mind on that. Once she says, actually no, you can't join our group, and he's like, oh, I want to join our group now. It really did feel like a filler. It felt like they could only think of 15 episodes. For all I know, the next few episodes aren't going to be great, but I really was massively, massively let down this episode. It does end with Alicia then being on the submarine with Morgan, and I assume whoever else is with Morgan. And she's telling Morgan how she actually doesn't think Padre is real anymore. She thinks Padre is a made up place, and she wants to let the word out known to all these other people who are out there looking for Padre, because she's going to make her own Padre. But then as she was explaining this, how he was smiling saying, are you going to create your own place? I was thinking, this is what Morgan and the group, this is their third time doing this. Morgan knows somewhere so safe. He knows about the Alexandria safe zone. He knows about Hilltop, Oceanside. Even the Sanctuary was still a safe place when he was there, and the Kingdom was still a safe place. He's at the point where I think Rick has left now at the point he's at, but all these places are thriving, and Morgan knows about it. He's got like probably 100 people here. They could make that journey together to go back. Even Dwight and Sherry know about these places. I don't know why Morgan is living in a submarine where if he steps outside he has to put a mask on when they can go back to Alexandria. There's got to be some reason why he's not going back, and it really is just, it's a head scratcher, because I don't understand why Morgan and the group aren't going back to Alexandria and all those places, because they know these places are safe. Why are they still struggling out in Texas when they can just go back there and be all safe? But honestly, I'm going to watch episode 10 now, because AMC did drop 9 10 together. I don't know why they done that, but they done that. I'm going to go watch episode 10 now. Fingers crossed it's a lot better, because this was a bad episode. Hopefully. But if you want to hear my thoughts on episode 10, click that subscribe button so you can go back and hear it whenever I drop it. Probably a few days from now. But if you want to hear my thoughts on episode 10, click that subscribe button. And for future episodes of The Walking Dead, excited for Tales of The Walking Dead as well. And I think there's a Fear the Walking Dead. I think they called it Death in the Water, something like that. I will watch that soon. I actually don't even know if that's a series or just a few episodes, but either way, I'm going to review that when I watch that. So if you want to hear my thoughts on everything Walking Dead, click the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.